Welcome to Burning Bright, a weekly podcast presenting poetry and prose from Passager. I don't know why, but I've been interested in language lately. One sign of it was that Palindromes episode of Burning Bright a few weeks ago. More recently, I've been thinking about those quirky collective nouns, like a pride of lions, or a brace of ducks, or a fleet of ships, or a team of horses, or a choir of singers. And that led me to Elizabeth Klise's poem from Passager issue 72, 17 Questions from the Silverware Drawer. Why fleet and pride and labor? Why words to describe the rare gatherings of mud hens and lions and moles, and nothing to capture the commonplace mayhem of this menagerie? Why the violent affirmation of a murder of crows and not, say, a murder of the 24 bamboo skewers left over from last summer's picnic? Why the civic formality of a colony of ants, and not a colony of the numerous small towns, tea, table, soup, slotted wooden measuring, that comprise this nation of spoons? Why a kindle of kittens, and not a kindle of the mismatched spatulas that clutter the confines of this space? Why no litter of ladles? Why no covey of corks? Why a pod, a pack, a paddling of dolphins, dogs, ducks, and nothing for these skimmers and strainers and drainers and scoops? Why no clouder of cookie cutters? Why no watch of whips or whisks? Why do coyotes, chicks, and sheep merit bands, broods, and flocks? Yet no word exists to contain this sharp-edged zoo of scissors and slicers and shredders and sifters and graters and ricers and dicers and forks. Why no brace of beaters? Why no muster of mashers? Why a quiver of cobras but not of corkscrews? A flight of butterflies but not of butter knives? A prickle of porcupines but not of potato peelers? Why no wake of tongs or rake of prongs? Why an army of frogs and a skulk of foxes, a charm of goldfinches and a leash of greyhounds, a herd of harts and a down of hares, but no collective term to contain the splendid squalor of these cake breakers, egg beaters, meat mallets, melon ballers, garlic presses, bottle openers, and fondue forks? Why is so much reserved for birds and beasts we will never see, and so little for the gnashing metal creatures that churn and slice and beat their way across the bowls and plates of our everyday lives? 17 Questions from the Silverware Drawer, Elizabeth Klise, from Passager's Winter 22 issue. And that led me to even more language quirks that Passager authors have written about. Andy Macera said, "Whenever I hear someone say, 'from the bottom of my heart,' I always wonder if it was spoken with sincerity or sarcasm. The bottom of most things is not where the most positive qualities thrive." We are curious to see it, since it is always where you are speaking from. These days, it is too easy to imagine the bottom as a rock or a barrel or a line bearing the weight of a zero. Sometimes it feels as if the bottom of your heart is like a desert where we squint into the brutal sunlight, trying to focus on the mirage of your words. We want to believe it is a pool of priceless marble and mosaic tiles, statues and fountains, its depth exceeding even Houdini's held breath. The Bottom of Your Heart by Andy Macera, also from Passager's Winter 22 issue. And finally, a villanelle from Conrad Hilberry. A villanelle is a 19-line poetic form with specific rules about rhyme and repetition that I won't go into here. This one's about something that increasingly only English teachers and sticklers for rules care about: the difference between lie and lay. You hear it even in the villanelle, the subtle elbowing of lie and lay. They both go down to bed, so who can tell? But neither one will wish the other well. "No transitives in here," cool lie will say, stretched on her sofa in the villanelle. Lay points out what couples know full well, that lie implies some distance, there, away, when two go down to bed in parallel. All seems quiet in stanza 4 until Lay lets two sensuous voices have their say, active and passive, nuzzling the villanelle. Let's have them both, lie the asphodel that littered the Elysian fields, and lay the drooping blooms of fuchsia on the sill, each offering its high-tongued syllable as you and I lie waiting in the hay. Together they invite the villanelle to sing, to pass the savory muscatel. Conrad Hilberry's villanelle, Lie and Lay, from Passenger, issue 51. He said, quote, "I thought a villanelle might be the right form for Lie and Lay. It's repetitive, it takes its time, it doesn't mind holding up and turning over a distinction that no one pays attention to in the real world. Let's enjoy the distinction before popular usage tosses the two words into the same pot." Close quote. I think popular usage has already tossed the two words into the same pot. To subscribe to or learn more about Passenger and its commitment to writers over 50, go to PassengerBooks.com. You can download Burning Bright from Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, and various other podcast apps. For Kendra, Mary, Christine, Roseanne, and the rest of the Passenger staff, I'm John Shore.